Okay, so welcome, guys. My name is Jamel Harvey. I'm going to be your host. I'm a 16-year-old, and this channel will be called the Jamel Harvey Podcast. For starters, welcome. And make sure you subscribe to this to get the channel out there. The reason I started this channel was to help those who are struggling with lending, a helping hand to those who are in need. So today, I'm going to share a little about me, my testimony, and where I come from. So for starters, I come from North Carolina. Born and raised near churches, loved going as a kid with my family. Fast forward a couple years later, my bio dad died when I was 8. That was a turning point in my life. Then fast forward years later, got exposed to pornography at an early age, and it affected me deeply. I kept doing it no matter how hard I tried to stop or what I did. It continued on and on like an everlasting loop. Then around my preteen, early teen years, I got bullied for my looks. It sucked because it took a turn on me and made me more insecure and more quiet. And you know how it is. It's crazy. As soon as I hit 2023, I gained so much confidence, but still in lust and pornography. I thought maybe, just maybe, if I had a girl, I would kill this satisfaction I have for lust. I'll talk to almost every girl to think it would solve it, but it didn't. It never did, never will. I was chasing worthless things, playing a dead man's game. Really is a dead man's game. Leads straight to the grave. Just as Solomon mentioned in Proverbs. I always remember that one. Around late 2023, which was October to like November. Actually, September, October, November, I stopped doing pornography, but the lust still stayed. The scars were still there. My view on girls and how I were hurting them were blind to me. I wanted satisfaction, but benefiting myself. But around December, I stopped talking to multiple girls, but still in the ways of my sin, I sought for someone out of the spot of my loneliness. So that's still bad too. You never want to do that. Now, around January of 2024, things were getting tough mentally at school. I had little to no friends. It all felt like a pressure. I found God that month, but only for a little while. I still had acts I didn't let go, like secular music, which really drew me drew me away from the Lord, which is why I really despise it and why I barely be listening to music like that anymore. I mean, I still do, but not secular music, worship music, stuff that encourages me. And, you know what happened when I started listening to secular music? I started slipping into an old habit. One night, just one night, I said, maybe one time wouldn't hurt, maybe just one time would not hurt. Fell back into pornography. But this wasn't by secular music. This was by in a relationship I had about in December. I'm sorry I forgot to mention it, but it was a relationship I was in. It was really getting lustful. I mean, it was good for a time when it first started, but it started getting more lustful the more I kept pursuing it. But around February and March, it was a rude awakening. I started noticing true colors of my relationship with this girl. I still stayed, but this sense of, and the spark of God was, sorry about that. And this spark of God was still around, but not too much. But I started working out. Boom, you looking for this? New hobby achieved. But it was still for the wrong reasons, which I really despised that. It was for people to say, oh, wow, this guy's buff. Oh, wow, let me get a look at your muscles. It was pretty bad, and I'm not even gonna lie. Later in March, I had the temptation to fall into lust, but I got up, and I chose between my potential for my satisfaction or my potential. I chose potential and purpose, so I worked out that night, and I knew God was with me. Because, his strength was with me to choose pleasure over, not pleasure, but you know what I'm saying, like choose purpose over pleasure. My fault for messing that up. Long day, kind of tired, but still kicking it. Later in March, no, my fault. So in April, it was chill but eventful. I started seeing, a little progress in my workout because it was like a month later. Progress would be like a little slow when you start working out, like like a month later, you just gotta keep consistent. And I kept working out, and then like days later, I got on TikTok. I started seeing a lot of Christian videos from Bryce Crawford, Cliff, even Father Cideron, and those little Christian edits giving you verses, about, stuff, and it encouraged me a lot. But it still didn't do like a lot of work in me, but it encouraged me. I kind of did have the Bible app, but I just never opened it in a while. I mean, I was in it. I read it sometimes, but not when when I needed it, I always opened it. But when I never needed it, I never did. But you gotta remember, every single time, I just remind myself that I need it every single day because it's my daily bread. It's important. But in May, I still felt the glimpse of loneliness, no friends to talk to, had no one to talk to. I still haven't. I even cried outside during lunch. It still hits me now. So, yeah, it's like, dang. But, you feel me? It's like, it just still hits me that now that, like, I went from this guy that went from, like, loneliness to, redemption. But then again, the relationship was still going. It was starting to rotten, but I started getting closer to the Lord in the end. And then in June, it was somewhat of the crumbling parts of the relationship, but like not really the ending of it. But one particular day, I was at home alone. You gotta answer yourself. What does a 15-year-old do when he's home alone? What does he do? Listen to music out loud. He has no worries, has nothing to do. Chores are done, nothing really. And so, I kind of felt that day. It was really crazy because I was being somewhat of I was being lazy that day too, and it made me feel into less. I take full accountability for it because on my half, I was just on my bed chilling, and I wasn't even armored with the holy armor. But you know what I did? I got up and repented. And back to that day, after I repented, I hit my back. It was back day. It was a pretty good day. It was eventful. Back day, working out. And then I decided, let me turn on some Star Wars. I watched the whole Star Wars trilogy, New Hope. Well, I ain't really watched New Hope, but I watched Empire Strikes Back and the Return of the Jedi. Really good movies. I really like those. Recommend those. But then, I said, maybe I should open up Instagram Reels and see what I had. And then I opened those. It was kind of crazy because my Reels was really, like, Christian videos started showing up on my Reels too when I was, yeah. And then I saw this one particular video that really spoke out to me. It was Kylo Ren telling, I think Rey, I think that's her name is, from like the sequels from like back in 2016 and stuff like that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he was telling Rey, you're still holding on, let go, and like it was kind of like it was kind of like a Christian related video, like how God be when you're like still holding on to like a girl that's holding you back from your potential and stuff like that. And I knew this relationship was really bringing me apart from the Lord. It was like breaking down my potential I had in Christ, but I still stayed. I mean, we did break up, but from that time, but we still got back together, which was really bad because, yeah, really bad. Okay, so now fast forward in June, like mid-June, it was like a pretty eventful day around like mid-June because it was like, it was like a family event. It was really good. So, a really good event. So I went there and then I low-key couldn't text back almost all day, but as soon as I decided to get the chance to like, I started getting ignored. So it was whatever. I tried to do something that was gonna be really bad, but I didn't. Okay, fast forward to July. That relationship was actually crumbling. It actually crumbled here. I'm gonna be honest. She started ignoring me again, and I knew it was time to pack up and leave. So I could grow in Christ, pursue my relationship with Christ. And then, because she was pulling me away from my potential, and I really wanted to pursue Christ. I really wanted to pursue Christ. And, she was still holding on to the things of this world. And, as soon as I started growing, I started realizing that, maybe, like me, growing as a Christian, you can't mix God and worldly things at the same time. As a Christian, you can't do that. Unequally yoked, you can't do that. So I cut her off. I mean, it was really hard for me because I really loved her, but you gotta realize I only loved the idea of her, and it was so lustful. And so around, I'll say mid Comic-Con weekend. I really love Comic-Con. I'm a big nerd. That's something about me. And I let her go for good. It was peaceful. It was really good. But this is where the turning part gets really, 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 really bad. So, around August, I was free. I was happy. I was unchained. I feel like that one TikTok picture where that guy is breaking his chains. And I was really growing with Christ. I was pursuing him until one day I let my loneliness and lust get to me. I made the same mistake trying to find someone in my loneliness. I did, but it wasn't successful. It was a talking stage, and then when I was talking to her, it was like one day I felt off. My spirit was off. And I was like, why do I feel so, weak? Why do I feel so sluggish? And I'm like, could it be because I'm trying to balance an unequally yoked relationship and rushing the process of building a relationship at the same time? And then I was shrugging it off my shoulders, and I'm like, ain't no way. Because can't do that. But then it was still lustful. Since some inappropriate stuff I cannot talk about on here, because no. And it's always owed into marriage. She said, I'm one of those. And I stayed, and she kept doing it. And eventually, she did have problems of her own that she had to take care of. But it was too much problems that, bringing it in, getting mad, ignoring, stuff like that, really ruins the relationship. And it was already ruined from the start because it was rushed. It was lustful. Everything. I mean, I've never talked lustful to her. It was just her. But it's really my fault for staying in that situation. So, eventually I knew I was walking differently by that time. And, it ended in a misunderstanding and a threat I was, really scared of. And, I didn't know what to do. So scared. But, now I've learned my lesson, fully free. And I'm actively trying to pursue Christ now. I'm very happy now the rest of my days, I'm working out good, and I actually have a purpose for it. And I'm happy, man. I'm just working out. Not even happy, but joyful. Happiness lasts only a little bit. I don't know why I keep saying happy, but, I'm joyful now. I'm really joyful. Workout was going great. I've been working out for the right reasons, honoring God with my body, eating right. Stuff like that, I've been growing. I don't even feel lonely anymore. I have a couple friends, I like that. They're really awesome. Because they really pulled me kind of out of a deep hole. Yeah, they really pulled me out of a deep hole. I really appreciate them, guys. But, but today, I still may not be perfect. But I am in fact redeemed and joyful. To share this with you all and to say this. So guys, I want to end it off here. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. I really appreciate that. I really end that. And, I really hope I can help someone with this testimony for now. Stay blessed. Well, Jesus Christ will bless you. All. I'll post another video. Not a video. I'll post another episode next week about lust. Bye, guys.